Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. So welcome to Kabbalah 3. For those of you that have been with us since last May from Kabbalah 1 and Kabbalah 2, welcome back. And for those of you that are taking Kabbalah 3 again, or you did Kabbalah 2 a different time, we welcome you as well. And you, just some general housekeeping for the class. I'm Allison, and I'm teaching together with Michal, co-teaching. And we have throughout the class a PowerPoint that we're going to be showing you, and we have different journaling questions. And there's going to be also time at that part of the class is a breakout room, and you're going to have mentors. So tonight we're just like going with the flow and kind of giving an overview of the class and getting to know and feel the energy of everything together. And then from next week, you're going to get assigned to your mentor group if you weren't in Kabbalah 2 with us. And if you were in Kabbalah 2 with us, you'll stay with the same mentor group. Then welcome back to all our amazing mentors. We have Mia and Renata, and we have also with us Faith, but she's not here tonight, I don't think. And we also have Anna. And we're so excited to start this journey with you into the kind of next level of your layers of what you're learning as Kabbalah students. And as you can see from the class tonight, I'm going to put up the PowerPoint in a moment. We actually are going to be delving into past lives and reincarnation, which is a really affirming concept in life when all of a sudden you start to understand that your soul exists for all of eternity, and the bodies that we have, right? The bodies that we have, we know on a physical level, once a person leaves this world, their bodies deteriorate. But the soul doesn't go through that process of deteriorating or dying. The soul, and your soul, has been with you for thousands and thousands of years, eons. There's no possible way that we could conceive how this existence, like we talk about in the 99% of the soul being eternal, it's because we're here in the physical world, it's difficult to conceptualize that. But the soul doesn't die. The soul is lasting. And throughout this course, you are actually going to be able to, in the simplest way, connect to that essence of who you are as a soul. You might have heard this quote before that says that we're all souls existing in a body. And that's truly what we are. We are the essence of us, and who we are is our soul. It's not all of those 1% physical things that we think that we are. And our soul has so much to teach us and so much to share with us, and knows much, much more than the limitations of our body. Our soul can, when we connect to our soul and our soul's knowledge, vast knowledge of why it came to this world and who we need to be in this physical world, we can actually start to understand our relationships differently. We can understand the business or the profession that we chose from a different point of view. All different pieces of the puzzle can start to come together as we start to study reincarnation, different pieces of the puzzle of our lives. Questions that we might have had, why did this happen to me when I remember actually the first meeting I ever had with a Kabbalah teacher. I was super young. I was like 19 or 20 years old. And it was literally like 25 years ago, believe it or not. And I sat with this teacher in Miami at an annex of the Kabbalah Center in a little gallery. And I'll never forget that he asked me one question. And he told me, do you ever have something in life that happened to you that you were never able to figure it out? And I did. I had like exactly an experience like that I went to Italy. I was so looking forward to it. I was studying music and opera and singing, and I was in an opera program. And I think like I was just dreaming and longing and imagining like what this amazing trip was going to be like. I was there for a whole summer, and I got so sick when I got to this little town of Siena. It was called Siena. That's where I was singing. I got so sick. I couldn't like it was, I actually lost 40 pounds in Siena, believe it or not, in the summer. And it was always a mystery to me, like why I was longing to go someplace that would, I thought would bring me so much joy. And it ended up being like a whirlwind of a different experience of life that I was not expecting. So when he asked me that question, what it was on my mind because I had just gone the summer before, and he just gave me like 2 words. He said, past life. The only way to explain what happens to me, like I was so disappointed and so my expectations weren't even like remotely met at this, in this summer experience, like was written on the brochure. It didn't say you are going to get sick and lose 40 pounds, right? And be in a country like that you don't even know how to speak the language, and the medical assistance there was dated back to like the early 1900s, like completely not modern. And it turned into a really awful experience for me. But when he gave me the answer, it must have been from a past life, some sort of cleansing that you were going to. That answer so aligned with my spirit, and I just knew, like my soul just like kind of burst and said yes, yes. So I wasn't planning to tell that story, but I think it's a good example. And we want to give you a question just to change the energy a little bit to think about, which I'm gonna attempt to share this PowerPoint. Hold on, hold please. Okay, share. Okay, can everyone see that? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, you can see. Oh, it says Eitan Yardeni. Oops, okay. So this is the question for you.
Alison, you have in the underneath the PowerPoint an icon that looks like a book. So if you press on it,
This
like
one?
a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
We're still back to Eitan. Sorry, we're not Eitan, but secrets of reincarnation. So the question that we want to ask you is just to be creative and change the energy. Is there anyone in your life that you felt that you had a past life connection with? Just intuitively, your instinct, someone that you maybe felt that you had such a strong connection to them when you were a child, like for no reason. A teacher, it could be maybe someone you felt like so repelled from and you didn't even want to go near them. See what comes up for you. And you can also share it in the chat. Let's see.
Yeah, and while everybody's writing, sometimes with we don't have it just with people. Sometimes we have it with places. Okay, so sometimes we can get to a place and we can feel I've been here before. I don't know, maybe 200 years ago, maybe 300 years, but I feel comfortable, right? And there are places that you go inside and you feel chill, like you really don't like to be there. And it also connects to the soul. So connect to past life, connects to, so even if you, maybe, I don't know, if you cannot find any person, but maybe places or situations that are like awkward, okay? So it can be also with people that, there are people that you just saying the same sentences together, right? Like soulmates, like, so that also, represents something from, we need to understand, we will understand it more and more and more, that most of the things that we are experiencing connects to, and people and situations, and connects to past life. And
even like homes that we buy. I know that the home
Exactly.
I grew up in as
exactly,
a child was like so familiar, so
right.
familiar. And I'm also thinking now while you're talking, Michal, I know that I think like when I was pregnant and then my children were born, it was such like a smooth transition. It's like you're pregnant, the baby is coming out, and you're holding this like new baby. And I think I was expecting to feel something like so powerful. But as you're talking, I feel like it was so natural. And it was like, oh, it's you. Like, you know,
Yeah, like
like
I
of
know you
course
from
you're supposed
before.
to be
Yeah,
in my life. And it wasn't this like, you know, foreign energy or something strange. It's just like so natural. Okay, now you're on the other side of the veil, right? You're born in
right,
this world
right,
and
right,
you're in my arms. And it just, you know, all of them just felt so
right.
like connected.
By the way, with houses, we also teach, right, that every time that we move to another house, it's a reincarnation. Okay, it's an end of one movie and a starting of a new movie. And even with that, the Kabbalists give some technology, you know, how do you leave a house and how do you move to a new house? Because this transaction can really affect your life. So very, very powerful, very interesting. Okay, but we have many things shared
Yeah,
in the
so
chat.
Kirti wrote her cat, which I think is really cool answer. Definitely. We'll show you at the end some books for further reading. And one of the books has a whole section about animals and reincarnation in it. And I really love what Shayna wrote, that when her sister was born, she was 4 and she believed with every fiber of her being that she was her baby and her mom just had her for me, for her.
That's so
I love
sweet.
that. I got chills when I read that. And Catherine wrote that she has a friend's friend last week that she met the first time and had a feeling, you know, they're a very long time. By the way, that happens to me where I'm living now. I live in Israel and Spot on a daily basis. I am meeting people, I would say in the past year, that it's just like, I know you. Like I'm like looking at them, we're connecting and maybe doing like some sort of something together. It's not just like meeting them on the street. Hi, like people that are coming into my life for some sort of reason, renting someplace for them, from them, or, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, where have you been my whole life? Like, I know you. And I think,
and we also use this, yeah, and we also use this term so many times. Do I know you from somewhere, right? When we meet somebody, and then he will tell us, definitely not. I never saw you. No, we know each other from somewhere. So this is really like the voice of the soul, which knows. Okay.
What else? So Sam Sir said he has a very deep connection with classic old items and places. And Angelica went to Gettysburg and immediately downloaded one of her past lives there. Carla feels connected to where she lives in Germany. And Angelica from Italy and France. She felt connected to both of those places. By the way, on an aside, I'm sorry if anyone lives in Paris, but I have such a thing not to go to Paris from the time that I am a child. My dad worked in France and Paris 2 weeks out of every month. And I had every opportunity to go. He always wanted me to come. I was like, I don't want to use the word terrified, but I never, ever, ever, and to this day, don't want to go there. And it's probably the most amazing place. So for me, it's like Cusco in Peru is Michelle. She has 0 physical direction yet in Cusco, but was able to help direct people there in places that you can't speak. Wow. It's amazing. Some parts of India. And parents, husbands, best friends from high school, friends. Yes. Okay, amazing. Italy, the Dark Ages, the castles. Do you have any stories with your kids, Michal, that they remember past lives?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, one day, you know, without details. No, because kids, right, until the age 3, they still
Like
remember
2 to 4. From 2 to 4, there's an
2 to
opening.
4. Okay, so more precise. From 2 to 4, they remember and they can channel and they can say. And so yeah, so my son told me once, Mom, you know that I was so and so. I don't want to say who, and I just look at him and I said, sure, can you tell me about? And he really started to tell me things like,
Wow.
and you can and you can listen to it and you can, you know, it sounds like a childish story and you can think to yourself, oh, he's just making up, you know, he's coming up with a story. It's not. They're not coming up with.
I was in the car once with my my son. He was 2.5. We were in Santa Monica, California. There was a clock tower, like a tower with a clock in the middle of Santa Monica, and he pointed out the window. He said, "Look, Mom, it's Ben's house." And so I thought, like, okay, like it's Big Ben. He thinks it's Big Ben, but he's 2. He's not even 2. I don't even know like how he would know what Big Ben is. But okay, I guess he knows what Big Ben is. He happened to be born in London, but didn't, you know, he left when he was 2 months old. So a little bit later that night, I thought maybe there's an opening that he can tell me something. And he told me that he used to feed lions in the tower on swords, something like that. So I Googled like Tower of London, lions, like I didn't know if there's some connection there. And it said that the Google told me that the Tower of London was used as a royal menagerie, like a royal zoo, and that the people like from foreign countries would bring animals to London, like as gifts to the royalty there, and they would. Now this is a 2-year-old. This is not someone that like would know this, right? I didn't. Who knows that? So they would give gifts to the royal family. They wouldn't know what to do with these bears and tigers and lions, like all these exotic animals. And they would put them in the Tower of London. And my son told me he remembered feeding them meat on swords, like really out there. And so, you know, it was pretty obvious that Google confirmed for me that this was real. He told me he remembered the pirates, the Captain Hooks, hanging outside the gates in the Thames River, like beyond. Okay, Michal, you want to continue?
Yeah, but basically just to understand that, you know, when we understand more and more past life, I mean, because what is the reason to study that even, right? So basically the reason to study and to understand it, it's because, you know, most of the day we are connected to our body. We are not connected to our soul. And our soul is really something beyond logic, even beyond any imagination, you know. We cannot even grasp who we are. And because there are 2 parts for the soul, right? There is the part which is perfected, okay? And there is the part of the soul that is within the body, okay? There are 2 parts. There is me inside the body. We are body and soul. Most of the day, the body consciousness and the body takes over. I mean, how do we know that? How many times, for example, just today, right? How many times did you think to yourself, was my soul? Or what did I did for my soul lately? Or how can I feed my soul, right? I mean, if we will take the percentage of how much we invest in that and how much we invest in the body, we will see that most of the day we are connecting to the body. And through the study of reincarnation, we get the opportunity to get more and more understanding of who is our soul through the situations, through things that are happening around us, and just to download more parts of our perfected soul. So, and this is the point, because this is the journey, right? This is the journey of our soul. Why did we come to this world? We came to this world and we will talk about it soon, parts of the soul, and there are a few parts to the soul, but we came to this world to really reveal, to find our purpose, right? But how do we find the purpose? When we reveal another part and another part and another layer of our soul. So we get connected to our truth, to our essence, to our power, connected to the light. So that's why reincarnation, it's one of the most fascinating and important studies in Kabbalah, because it's not just, like, okay, give me the information which queen I was in past life. It's not about that. It's so much more than that, because some of us are here on our maybe 50th reincarnation, okay, 50 circle of life. And we need to understand that every time we come to the body, our body, that the soul choose very carefully which parents we're going to have, where we're gonna live, which challenges are we going to have, how we're going to look like, who will be the people in our life, who's going to be my kids, who's going to be my friends. The soul choose it very, very carefully before we come to this world. Why? Because there is another part to fix. And everybody represents a different part in the tikkun of the soul that is moving for life. So let's say if in past life I succeeded to correct something, right, one part of my life, I will come now, the soul will choose to come to continue this journey. Okay, we are on a journey. And so it's so important to understand where we're coming from, what are those people in my life, because it will help me to download more parts of my soul and to understand more of my path and my process. Okay, this is just like overall to understand the importance, because it's not just exciting and interesting. It's much more than that. We have to understand it. Many times, it gives us so much clarity. Okay, let's say I have a person in my life that I struggle with him and he doesn't move out of my movie. He's there, but I need to understand, who is he? What's his role in my life? Because I know him already from the past and I came to fix something with him. And that gives so much clarity and understanding. Okay, so our purpose in this world is really to download more and more layers, energies, of the soul. And the body disturbs, because the body is for itself alone. The body is selfish. The soul is not selfish. Okay, the soul is not selfish. The soul is light. So reincarnation means how long it's going to take for the entire parts of the soul to come down and to do tikkun, right, in this life. There is a beautiful story that we tell it for many, many years. It's a story from the great kabbalist, the Baal Shem Tov, that one day one of his students came to him and he told him, I look at the world and so many things are not fair, right? We actually many times we look at the world and we ask ourselves why it's happening. It's not fair. Why things are like that? The evil person get the money, that person get this. Many times we also say there's no justice in the world. Why good people get hurt and then wicked people get power and strength and money? So that guy comes to the Baal Shem Tov and he tells him, listen, there's no justice in the world. I really don't understand what is happening. Explain to me. And then the Baal Shem Tov, the great Kabbalist, told him, you should go to this certain field at noontime and just observe what's happening there. That's it. That was the answer of the Kabbalist. So this guy goes to this field and he sees that there is a bench, and one guy sits just to have his lunch, he's having his lunch. And when he gets up from the bench, his wallet drops from his pocket and he leaves. Couple minutes after that, another guy comes as well, and he discovers this wallet on the floor. He takes the wallet, he looks inside, there's so much money. He takes off, he runs with the money, with the wallet. Okay, well, third person arrives and sits and eats his lunch. The first person who dropped the wallet comes back because he realized the wallet is not with him. What does he see? This guy sitting on the bench, eating lunch. Starts to argue with him, to ask him, where is my wallet? The guy said, I have no idea what you're talking about. There was no wallet here. And they start discussing and arguing. And then the guy that lost the wallet starts to punch him, like really, really punch him, hit him. And that's what he sees. So now he is even more confused, right? Because here you have a decent person getting beaten up. Another person goes with the wallet happy, and there's so much confusion. He goes back to the Kabbalist. He goes back to Baal Shem Tov and he tells him, okay, that's what happened. I'm totally confused now. And then Baal Shem Tov explained to him, you need to understand that all those people that you saw, they connect to each other. Okay, they connect to each other. In past life, there was a trial between two people. And one person, okay, the one who took the wallet and went with the money was the one that in past life was supposed to win in the trial. And there was some, deceiving or something like that. And the other guy, the one who lost the wallet, he was the one who won the money, and it was wrong. So basically what you see is that the guy that lost the wallet, it's money from past life that wasn't belong to him. And the person that took the wallet, that's the person who the money was belonged to already from past life. And so the guy asked the Baal Shem Tov, okay, and what about the third person, the one that was beaten up? So the Baal Shem Tov says, oh, that was the judge in the trial, because he really, really wasn't right with his decision. So he got beaten up.
He took a bribe.
I took a bribe, thank you. He took a bribe. So he was beaten up. So when we look, and that's life, guys, that's life. And just understanding this story takes us to a place in our life which is very, very important, and it's the place of judgment and assumptions, right? We look at things, we look at people, he looks nice, he looks evil, this situation looks to us correct, that situation looks to us not correct, and we judge. We need to understand. Let's start with this understanding, okay, in the class tonight. We see nothing. We really know nothing. We look at the situation and we think we understand it. We look at the person, we think we know him. We do not. There's so many layers. There's so many stories that comes with that. And I think just for that, and because of that, many times we think, things are not fair, but we need to understand that our soul choose all those scenarios, all those difficulties, all this pain, all those struggles. We choose it. We choose it because from past life, this is exactly what we need now to download another layer of our soul, another layer of our greatness. Okay? So
Story. And Laura's asking, maybe you can answer her, Michal. Future lives get better and better if we correct our tikkun in one lifetime.
do you mean what if we finished our tikkun in one life? Basically, it's not about getting better or not getting better. In every lifetime, we just get to fix other parts. So maybe that will actually takes us, Alison, to the next slide with the different parts of the soul. So basically, our soul has 3 parts. It actually has 5 parts. Just 2 of the parts we're not even discussing because it's even beyond this world to achieve. But we have a journal before? No, here it is. Okay, so there are 3 levels of the soul, 3 parts for the soul. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. Nefesh basically it's the lower part of the soul. Okay, so Nefesh and then Ruach, which is spirit in Hebrew, and Neshama, which is soul. Okay, and Nefesh, it's the lowest part. So basically Nefesh, and to answer Laura, every time we start with Nefesh, and even to Nefesh, there are levels, okay? And every time that we finish and we fix one part of it, we move to the next part and to the next part. In Nefesh, there are many parts. When we finish that, and we will explain what is Nefesh, what is Ruach, how does it look like, when we finish to fix that, so we elevate to the next place. The next place, it's the next energetic or spiritual level that we climbing up to. It doesn't mean that because spiritually we climbed up that the challenges will be less. Actually, we can see that so beautifully that with Kabbalists, with spiritual people that are actually there to help the world, to assist people, to guide them. We can see how many challenges those people going in their life. We can see it clearly with the leaders of the Kabbalah Center, Rav and Karen Berg, which even though we do not have, by the way, this book as recommendation for today we will recommend 2 books that has to do with reincarnation. But there is one book that I really, really think it's a must to read in order to understand what is the Kabbalah Center, who is the Rav and Karen, and the entire story. It will give you so much more power and understanding and sense and beauty of where you are. And that book is 2 Unlikely People to Change the World. That's the name of the book. And it's the entire story of the Rav and Karen, Rav Berg and Karen Berg, and the building up of the Kabbalah Center. It's very, very, which is totally a reincarnation story, totally a reincarnation story. So Nefesh is the lower part of the soul. It connects very, very much to the ego, to the body. This is the place of selfishness. This is the place. So this is the place of desires to receive for itself alone. This is the place of different lusts that we have in our life. This is the place of different greediness that we have in our life. This is the place where we just want to take and think about ourselves. That's the Nefesh. So Nefesh, it's the very, very rough part of the soul, which connects to the physicality, okay? So how do we know that we climb in the levels of the Nefesh? It's when less and less we care about the physical world. What does it mean, care about the physical world? We are less and less giving importance to the physical things around us. We live in a physical world. We have to do our work in a physical world. But we don't give the importance to the physical world. We don't chase, so we understand more and more that if I will have that or not have that, that's not the essence of my life, right? If I will have more money or another job or, sorry, I'm sorry guys,
Okay, should I take over?
I'm sorry. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry for that. It was my son. Okay, so less and less we have attachment to the physical world. We can understand that we are fixing more and more parts of the nefesh. You want to add something about nefesh, Alison? Next level, ruach, which is spirit. It has to do more about, it's like the wind, the ruach, it's like wind in Hebrew. And it has to do more about the talking. So it's the studies, being connected to the spiritual wisdom, being connected to the laws of the universe, is where we already move into a place that our giving is really pure, without agenda, and everything that we do with our mouth, with our spirit, is just to influence good and to bring the word of the light to people, to the world, to situations. Okay, this is the level of spirit. And neshama, this is already when a person become pure channel, just guiding others, just here for it's like a humanitarian soul assignment. I'm just here to influence the world. I'm here to give. I'm here to share, and that's really what I care about. So it's just how I can be for the world. This is the level of neshama, and so we can understand that the ruach and the neshama are very, very high levels. Okay, they're very high levels, and but not to discourage. Okay, we are moving with every life. We are moving. For example, all of us being here studying Kabbalah, already you guys in Kabbalah 3. So it's already definitely means that, we are climbing up in the ladder of the nefesh, maybe even touching some parts of the spirit already, okay, because that's what's important for us. And so, yeah, that's how we can recognize, where we are, which part of the soul we fixed already.
And someone, Ines is asking, do they exist simultaneously?
No, I think no. We just climb from one to the other, but sometimes we, you cannot be in nefesh and in spirit at the same time. Okay, this is the question. So the answer is no. But for example, it also go by the 10 levels, the 10 emanations. So you have the lower level of ruach, which is nefesh of ruach. We don't want to go into the details, and then we are in the lowest part of the ruach, and then we can see again elements from the nefesh, but you are already in the level of ruach. But you cannot be on the ladder here and there at the same time. You cannot. You have to climb from one to the other. Okay. Yeah. And Alison, from here, you will move to Cain and Havel. I need to say goodbye, guys, because I need to jump to another class. So I'm so happy that we started this journey together, that we continue this journey together. And I'll see you again next week. Thank you, Alison. Thank you, all the mentors. See you next week.
So thank you, Michal. We're going to go over now. You can still see the PowerPoint. Yes. Okay. So you might have, I mean, you might have heard of the characters, biblical characters, Cain and Abel. Is everyone kind of familiar with that, those stories, those characters? So they're the, how do I describe it? They are the energy, like, let's say that the energy is what we're looking at, but the story is that they were the children of Adam and Eve, and the older brother was Abel, and the younger one was Cain. And the story is that it was the first time that the world experienced death, and that it was actually an accident, because no one knew what death was and didn't know that someone was going to die. So it wasn't like on purpose a brother killed a brother. It was an effect of something that they didn't know that existed yet. And what we can take from that, not, it's not necessarily that story, but the energy of these two brothers. So Abel was was right column, and it says Cain was left column. And we learned a little bit in Kabbalah too about sharing, that there's right column energy and there's left column energy. And the reason that we're bringing it up now is because we all have this type of energy in our own lives, in our own tikkun. So I just want you to look at these characteristics and see if there's any of them that you vibrate with. To be on the right side, it's that energy of sharing. To be on the left side is the energy of receiving. When we say sharing, we mean also, like, if you had a battery and there was a positive side and a negative side. So it doesn't mean that the positive side of a battery is a better side than the negative side of a battery, right? Or of a light bulb. The positive is there because it's a positive charge of giving, and the minus side, the negative side, is there is because it's the energy of receiving. You need both. You need both of those. Like, you can imagine in this world, what would it look like if we had no policemen, if we had no laws, if we had no rules? So all of that energy is left column, that energy, but it's necessary. That the issue is when it goes too left, right? So when we see selfishness, jealousy, that it has to be my way, and arrogance, so that can be indications that there's an imbalance in that left column energy. That's part of, we're saying it's part of our tikkun, because Kabbalah explains that we're all part of the original soul of Adam, that extended into Eve, that extended into their children, that somehow we exist in that whole. So the tikkun of Cain, and this is like we're talking past lives in a way that our soul, all our souls are connected, is from, we don't even know how long ago, eons ago, is left column energy. And Abel is right column energy of over-pleasing, without any boundaries, and being too accepting, being overly merciful, being ruled completely by empathy. And there are these two aspects of our soul, and tikkun is divided into those two columns. So some of us have more of a right column type of tikkun, and some of us have more of a left column. It's very rare that you find someone with like a strong both of those. Like, you can see they're kind of distinct personalities. Like, I know I'm definitely more on the right, and my husband's definitely more on the left. So you can, what's so funny, I see some laughter there. But it's nice, you know, we kind of can complete and balance each other, and he can pull me in when I'm, you know, just have completely no structure or boundaries. And I can pull him in when he gets, you know, way too caught up in all of that left column energy stuff. So that, so just think, you know, take a moment and kind of read over that list. Think about which one you are more like gravitating towards, because the idea is really to make it and to surround yourself in life with people that are going to help you create a central column, a middle column from, you know, with more balance and introspection. So just, I'm gonna now move it to the next slide, which is for you to journal where in life that you're too right column or too left column, and what would it take for you to achieve more balance in this area? Like I said, you know, for me, it's connected to environment, being around, you know, strong people that can help to wake me up or get me out of that. If I'm on a spiral of like too much mercy. So you write for yourself. What do you think that it would, would take for you to achieve more of a central column balance energy with those tikkuns? Then we're actually I'm going to choose like one or two of you that want to share in the class. So as soon as you know you want to share, you can write it in the chat. You can't see the PowerPoint? Oh, can you guys see the PowerPoint? Yes? Okay. Can I stop the PowerPoint from sharing, or you want to keep it up there? You need it there? Okay. Okay, I'll leave it up for a moment. So does anyone want to raise their hands? Michelle, I'm going to unmute you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm more to the right, especially with no boundaries, particularly with my work life. It's quite weird because with my family, I'm a lot stricter than I am with clients. And I've actually been thinking about it today when I had someone overstay their welcome by 2.5 hours. And
Wow.
And I realized, I've noticed when someone's not hearing what changes they need to be making in their lives. So somehow someone sits there and says to me, okay, they're stealing from their company and this is the reason why, and they justify it. And I try and bring them into the light, and they're not prepared to listen. I spend so much time trying to convince them why they should be looking at this, that I'm actually not answering the questions they want. So I'm almost trying to rescue too much instead of acknowledging what place they're at and what they want to be looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's also, it's really interesting when you think about it, because like, it's really important to, what do you think, what would you need to do in order to achieve more of that central?
I think to stop trying to save everyone and to put more boundaries in place as to meeting them at their level, but also, I think it's also a bit of too much of my way. So that's where I'm fluctuating between the two, the left and the right. So I'm wanting them to hear why they shouldn't be doing what they're doing, which means I'm sitting in judgment. Mm-hmm.
So what's
Sure.
interesting, what's interesting as a motivator, not just for you, Michelle, but for everyone, is that it's almost as if when we try to, you know, to control or to force or to I'm not saying, you know,
Yeah.
it's not intentional. I don't think
Yeah.
it's coming as aggression, but when we you know, try to impress our you know, our knowledge or what we see, you know, and it's not like registering for the other person, right? We've all had that type of situation. It can be painful also to see people going through things, or, you know, maybe even you can see into the future that like this person has to change or something really awful is going to happen, right? Like there can be a lot of different motivations for why you would want to stay for 2 hours with someone, like almost like on a soul level, you know, their soul's crying for help. But what's very interesting is it actually doesn't help the other person at all, because they need to go through their own process, and there's a lot more spiritual work that can be done for, you know, for like more on the level of the 99%, you know, maybe sending that person good energy, praying for him that he'll be able to hear, or like that the opening will appear to them, or something will awaken, or the process will go faster for them, right? There's a lot of like good desires that we can have and we can send to another person. And I do these like like coaching sessions, which actually we're going to do one together. So that would be interesting. And if you guys are on Facebook, you can also watch one of the ones I did for someone. I did it like publicly and also on Instagram, just to get an idea and a feeling about it. And there was a situation where a woman, this is something you can go back on Facebook and watch it. I can give the mentors the link to show you. So this woman had a time at Thanksgiving, which happened last week, that like an old wound opened up, and she had a cousin that was very bossy with her. So I asked her, you know, in this kind of meditation, did anything like that ever happen to you? Does it remind you of something? And she said when her mom, when she was young, her mom was really aggressive with her. So we went back and created like a spiritual protection for her when she was a child that she could even carry with her now, even though she didn't really have that as a child. But when it comes to the world of the 99%, and if you with the right guidance, you can go back in time, you can create protection, and you still have it in the future, even though you didn't really have it as a child, but you can like morph energy and timelines, and it will affect your present in a positive way. Does that make sense? So what happens if she had protection, or she was able to deflect as a child that energy that her mom was like pounding on her and tough with her, and she basically she was just taking all the energy in, right? But if she has a protection around her and she's able to deflect that, then her mother can start to see like what it is that she's actually doing. Does that make sense? Like when you're in a situation with someone one-on-one, it just reminded me of this when you're talking about it, because you're like absorbing their energy in a way. Yeah. And when you can find a way to, like, you know, and this is your work, this is up to you, but the question is like, how could you achieve more balance, is to find a way to deflect. Is that the right word? Deflect or reflect? Yes. Like you want to question, or you want to put that energy back at someone so that they can process it themselves. And and then you can align. in more of a balance, and start to give them space to go through their process. So one of the things that can help to achieve more of balance in the area of your life, if you feel that you're absorbing, right? Because Michelle's on the right side, right? That's what you said, is to find boundaries and to find ways to, to deflect the energy. Definitely not keeping someone for 2.5 hours is not going to help. And it's really, really, like, Karen Berg was a master at this. Karen could ask me one question. The very first meeting I had with Karen, I asked Karen a question, and Karen asked me, maybe I share this in one or two, but are you good? That was it. And I got all the answers I ever needed to get about my life in those 3 questions from that, from Karen, just pushing the energy right back at me, and not just, taking it in. It takes a lot of strength also to do that. So thank you for
Thanks.
sharing. Does anyone that's on the left side want to share? Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. Anyone raise their hand that thought that they're more on the left? Anyone? Sophia. Okay, Sophia, you can unmute. Hi.
Hi.
Can you turn on your camera so we can see you?
Okay, wait a little bit.
Hi.
Me, personally, I'm feeling exactly, I have 2. The one is on the right side and the other is on left side. And I can't discriminate which is more or less. So I feel that I have 2.
Okay, you have both.
Yes, both
Okay.
left and both right.
And
One
if
from the left.
it could be that way. It could be that way if you don't just gravitate towards one of them. How do you feel that you could achieve more balance? Or you feel balanced with it?
With the boundaries, you have already answered my question, because I have the boundaries from the left side, and also I have the arrogance from the right, left side arrogance and the right side boundaries. With the arrogance, I'm working on it.
Like feeling entitled, like an entitlement?
Like?
Entitled, like getting upset if it doesn't serve you, like feeling you deserve something?
Yes, something like that, because me, I'm an artist, okay? And all artists, we have, I think, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yes, and
the tortured artist syndrome, something like that.
something happens, because when you are in an exhibition where are many other artists, and you are feeling overvalued or undervalued, and always you have this.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So arrogance, in order, what do you think that you would have to do in order to achieve more of a balance from when you go to that place of arrogance?
I don't know. I'm working with my logic mostly.
So to drop more into your heart.
Yes, I'm saying to myself, okay, maybe it's not your work better than the others, okay? Or maybe in the future, maybe your work being more recognized, or maybe it's too early to, something like that. I can't do nothing more, I think.
So actually, I think if you are going more to your head, it can be interesting to drop more into your heart. And even imagine that there is like an elevator with your thoughts, and you're just able to move down and down and down and down, like all of that energy into your heart. And because your heart is it's filled with more of the energy of acceptance, and it has more mercy than the brain that's so logical and is more left side. So it could be a good exercise for you if you're feeling that that tendency of the left to drop, like to imagine that you're taking the same situation but from your heart, and put more of the energy of your heart into it.
Okay, I will try.
Okay, so I want to thank you guys for sharing, bravely sharing, and putting on your camera. I'm sorry if there's some people that just entered the class. We started an hour before, so I don't know what the confusion was, but I'll ask Sarah David to check with you. So that's, we're gonna wrap up our class for tonight. I want to give you some workshops that you can do and some recommended reading. So the recommended reading, The Wheels of a Soul is my absolute favorite book. It's the first book that I ever read on Kabbalah before I took any classes. My mom gave it to me. I went away to summer camp one summer and read it. It answered every question I ever had about life from reincarnation point of view, and everything that was written there just resonated with me as truth. And a lot of times when we're learning reincarnation, and we're learning about past lives, it's like, it just feels right. That it's, if you haven't been familiar with this before and you're just learning it, it can just feel like, oh, that, like, I always knew that, but I didn't know how to put a frame on it. And we're going to go more into the details of past lives, and you'll understand more what I'm talking about. But Wheels of the Soul talks about every event that could ever happen to a soul in their lifetime and in other lifetimes, and why. So it goes through marriage, divorce, children, I think there's even a chapter in there about World War II and the Holocaust. Like, it really, it's such an easy read. It's fascinating. And it's a book by Rav Berg. And then Karen Berg, we talk about the writings of the Ari of Rav Isaac Luria. And Karen was able to take a lot of the writings of the Ari, to pull out the really solid fundamental, because the Ari was all about reincarnation. Just knew every secret of reincarnation. And Karen extracted the writings of the Ari and made it practical for our modern minds and for our lives. So that's the one that I was saying has about like animals and dogs and that type of reincarnation. It's really, really, really interesting. And then we have, oh, by the way, these books, both, you can also, if you can get them on something called Kabbalah Reader, which is an application that we have with all the Kabbalah Center books on it. And then we have a workshop. So this is what we did before. Okay, so I just, you can continue to think about it. And let me go back to the Zoom, stop the share and look at you guys. What? Oh, was I sharing the screen? I wasn't sharing the screen? Ah, I'm so sorry. Okay, wait, let me do that again. What happened to it? Here. Okay. Someone should have told me. I'm sitting here like staring at the screen like I'm showing it to you. Okay, here. So you can take a screenshot of that. Those are the two books. Wheels of the Soul and To Be Continued. You see them now? Hugo, you're my indicator. Yes. Okay. Thank you. And you can look on Kabbalah Reader, or you can look on Amazon. You can get access to those books. Highly recommended. You're going to read Wheels of the Soul. You're going to come back next week and know everything and have like all these questions and things to share. Such an easy read. And it's just fascinating. Really, really fascinating. Really speaks to the truth of the soul. So that's our class. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to share with you all. You can reach out this week to Sarah. She's our class coordinator, Sarah David, if you have any questions. If you haven't met with Michal or myself yet and you want to do a teacher meeting, you can also reach out to her and we can be available for you and to go deeper into these concepts of reincarnation and the soul work together if you're interested. And I think that's it. Any questions, comments? Okay, so it's great to be with you all, and we'll be in touch next week. Bye, everyone.